Honor for me to speak to you for a few minutes about my dad on the occasion of his funeral. I may get choked up. Bear with me if I do. Since I found out on Wednesday that my dad died on Saturday, a few hours after my wedding, I've learned a few things about grief that I did not know before. There's some things you just can't know unless you go through them yourself. One of the things I've learned about grief is that getting emotional, getting choked up, it's okay because it is a way of loving that person that you've lost. So if I get so choked up that I can't finish, it's because of how much I love my dad. And I'm not ashamed of that. I wouldn't be ashamed now of getting so choked up that I have to stop a minute. And I think that everyone here, if you can hear me, I think everyone would understand that. We drove a long way to get here, and it's because Mom and Dad's life is in the Newton area now, but their burial plots are here. And some of you probably know why it's here, but maybe some of you don't know why we're here. There's kind of two reasons. So if you ask yourself, why did he buy his burial plot here at Woodlawn Memorial Garden? There's really two questions there. One question is, why did he buy a burial plot? And the other question is, when he bought a burial plot, why did he buy it here? And I'm going to answer the second question first. He bought the burial plot here because in 1971, on July 1st, we moved, the family of us 5, we moved over from Hudson to that house over there. That's where he lived from 1971 until they sold it a few years ago. And many of you have come over to this house before and had moments of joy with us. At the time you didn't think of it as moments of joy, you just thought of Uncle Thomas, so much fun. And then other times you thought, okay, usually. And so when you live in a place that's this beautiful for a long time, you get attached to the land. So Dad wanted to be buried close to where he spent so much of his life. Close to where he loved his wife, close to where he raised his kids. And I'm really grateful that he's buried here. It means a lot to me. Now for that first question, why did he buy a burial plot? It's something we don't like to think about. But at funerals, we have to think about it. Everybody dies. And he brought himself to think about that for enough moments to come over here and meet somebody in that business office and buy the plots for him and Mom. So he knew. And the closer he got to it, as you'll see, the closer he got to it, the more he prepared. I think the biggest thing I want to say to you today, without going into any detail, is that Dr. Tom Schrum was a flawed man. When I told the pastor, I'm not sure where you're, when I told the pastor that's going to be one of my themes, he said, but brother, we're all flawed men and women. And I said, well, that's the point. He was flawed, I'm flawed, you're flawed. If you knew my dad very well, you knew what some of his flaws were. If you didn't know him, take my word for it. His flaws caused us pain and sadness, and we were still compelled to love him. Love him with abandon, recklessly, crazily. To feel joy when we came back to see him, and to feel sorrow when we were parting from him. The few times that he didn't like to talk on the phone, I never found out why, but the few times he would talk to us on the phone, it was a joy to talk to him. I think what was most difficult about the flaws, his flaws and our flaws, is that they sometimes kept us from expressing that love as fully as we were feeling that love. All the same, we did succeed enough in showing him our love that we have few regrets. Speaking for myself, I have no regrets in my relationship with my dad. I have only Tergers. Terger is a word that I made up. It's regret spelled backwards. A Terger is a regret is something that you did and you wished you hadn't done it. A Terger is something that you did and you're glad you did it. I made this word up after my dad's sister died, your grandmother, my Aunt Larnell, because there was a few things I got to do in her last days that I was so glad I went to do. So I had to invent a word, and I invented the word Tergers. So now that we've come to the end of my father's life, I have a deep sense of satisfaction that I have only Tergers with him. This is his Bible. Clearly, my greatest Terger with him happened a week ago. Somebody want to catch this or try? It's yours, Tiffany. A week ago today, September 24th, 2011, the day I married you, Lucy. 2 p.m. and the day that he died on 9 p.m. after coming back from my wedding. I hate that he died, but then again, everybody dies. The Lord, in a beautiful stroke of grace, allowed my dad to see us marry, allowed my dad to celebrate with us in pretty good health. On the way home from the wedding in Raleigh, back to this part of the state, the Lord allowed him to see a cloud formation. Laura told me about this. A cloud formation of about 7 stairs. A staircase going up toward heaven. He even commented on it. After it disappeared, he said, "It's going up to heaven." So, it's like change of subject here. In 2006, at my grandmother's funeral, my mother's mother, I had a privilege there too. I got